kitchen. For today, our objective that we are going to be covering, our topic is observing weather. Before we get started with this activity, make sure you have your student journal for this lab, okay? This lab is not gonna just take us one day. This lab is gonna take us in about 3 days, depending on your research as well. The first thing that we need to do and we need to realize is that we have a part 1 and a part 2. We are gonna work together on the part 1 every day for 3 days. And part 1 says, using your weather tools, thermometer, windsock, anemometer, and rain gauge, record the daily weather at your school. So in this case, we're gonna record the weather every day here at my house, okay? So what we're going to be looking at is we need to write the date that we're doing this, the time, and the temperature for the day, the amount of rain, the wind speed, the wind direction, and then we need to look outside at the weather conditions, is if there's any precipitation or if there's any cloud cover. Now, before we get started with this and we go outside to do our first weather observing, we need to look at our different tools. In this case, we should all know what a thermometer looks like, okay? A thermometer is going to tell us the temperature if it's inside or if it is even outside. So we're gonna be reading the temperature outside to be able to check the weather. The next thing that we are going to look at is called an anemometer. Now, you can build one of these at home if you like. You can use craft sticks and you can use little Dixie cups. In this case, we're gonna go ahead and use the anemometer. And what an anemometer does is it measures the wind speed. But when we're using this type of anemometer, we also need a timer. So when we go outside, we're gonna put this somewhere where it can grab wind. And when the wind starts blowing, it is going to move. And we're gonna count, and we're gonna be watching the red one. And we're gonna be counting how many times does it go around, how many rotations does it make in 1 minute. Then we'll be able to write our data. The next thing that we have, it should be a windsock. In this case, I don't have a windsock, but I have something that is similar to a windsock, because what a windsock does is it blows in the wind and it tells you in what direction is the wind coming from. So in this case, we have this type of weather tool that when the wind blows, it will point in a direction that the wind is coming from. So we have our coordinates, our north, our south, our east, and our west. So we'll be able to tell where is the wind coming from what direction. The next tool that we have is the rain gauge. So when it rains outside, we can put this somewhere in our yard where it can measure the amount of rain. Now it measures the rain in millimeters, okay? So we would have from 1 to 5 to 10, and it slowly goes up and the numbers get a little bit closer, but because the rain gauge gets wider, the higher it is. So it's smaller at the bottom and it opens up wide at the top. So those are our different weather tools. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go outside every day and we're going to check the weather using our weather tools. Your part that you are going to do is you're going to do part 2. You're going to record the weather conditions the day that you watch this video. So today, you're gonna go ahead and put the date, the time, and you're going to record the weather conditions in your area. So you can either look online, you can watch the news, or you can ask Alexa. So for example, I'm gonna ask Alexa what the weather is. Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Currently, in Laredo it's 95 degrees Fahrenheit with partly sunny skies. Tonight, you can expect mostly clear skies, with a low of 79 degrees. Enjoy your evening.
So we can always watch the weather. We can ask we can ask Google, we can ask Alexa, we can ask Siri, we can go online and check for the weather. So however you decide to look up the weather for the day that you're doing this, you're gonna be doing part 2 for every day. So today is day 1, and we're gonna go ahead and go outside. So let's go outside. Okay, hi boys and girls. Now that we're outside, today's date. For today that I'm recording this video, today is 8/6/2020, and the time, it is 5:45. And we're going to read our thermometer. Now, if you're looking really close at this, our thermometer is already at the 100 degrees, and this side is Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go ahead and put 100. Now, what is it in the Celsius? This is 30, this is 35, and then it goes by 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So it looks like it's at 38 degrees Celsius. So 38 degrees Celsius is similar to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, amount of rain. Right now, we haven't gotten any rain. We just set it out. So we're going to go ahead and put 0. Now, our wind direction. I have the wind vane here, and the wind vane, so it looks like that the wind direction is coming from the south. So the wind is blowing this way, and my arrow is pointing close to the south, so it's in between the south and the east. So what we're going to go ahead and put direction here, wind direction, it's coming from the southeast. Okay. Our wind speed, I didn't get any direction in the wind speed because there's a lot of things in between disturbing the wind to be able to get a really good reading from there. But in the next box, we're going to be able to look at if there was any precipitation today. Today there was no rain. It's very hot outside. You can tell it's 100 degrees, right? But cloud coverage. So if we look up at the clouds, there does look like there are some clouds here. So I would be able to say that it is partly cloudy. So on my paper, I'm going to go ahead and write partly cloudy. So what you're going to go ahead and do for your part 2, is you are going to go ahead and record your weather conditions. Now, I know sometimes you're going to have to look for your information. You're going to decide where you're going to find your information. Remember, either you go online or you watch the news. You can use your Alexa, you can use your Siri, you can use Google, okay, and find out what your weather is. Remember, make sure you put the date, the time, and you fill in all of your boxes, okay? And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, hi boys and girls. Now we are going to move on to day 2 of our weather tools. So the first weather tool I want to go ahead and look at, go ahead and come zoom in, is our rain gauge. Now, it has not been raining, so we don't have any rain amount. So our rain gauge is empty. So no rain for the past day. Let's go ahead and go to our thermometer. And we're going to read our thermometer for day 2. So if we look at our thermometer, yesterday it was at 100. Today it went up a little bit more. So if this is 100, this is 120, this middle one should be 110. So then we're going to 100, 102, 104. So it looks like we're at 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So 104 degrees Fahrenheit. And if I move over to my Celsius, it is at 40 degrees Celsius. So remember, this is Celsius, this is Fahrenheit. We're gonna go ahead and fill in the other information. Day 2, today that we're taking this video, today is the 6th of August. And it is 6:05 in the evening. The amount of rain, well, we didn't have any rain in the rain gauge, so there was no rain yet. Now we're going to look at our wind direction. So we have our wind vane, and it looks like it's similar to where the wind was coming from yesterday. So it looks like it's coming from the southeast. So we're going to go ahead and right here, southeast. Now we need to look up at the sky. So go ahead and look up at the sky. There's a few clouds over there and over there. So we can't say that it's just sunny. So we can write in that it is partly cloudy. So let's go ahead and write that in. Partly cloudy. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead again. You're gonna do your recordings for day 2, and you're going to put everything that we just did. You're gonna go ahead and do your part in research, either watching the news or looking on the internet, looking online. Okay, so then I'll see you back tomorrow. Hi boys and girls, and we are now on day 3. So day 3, we're looking at putting the date, the time, our temperature, our wind direction, and any weather conditions that's up in the sky, looking up and making our observations. So today is August 7th. I'm gonna put the date, and it is already 6 o'clock, and it's 6 p.m. And we're gonna go ahead and look at our temperature. So looking at our temperature, right now we want to look at Fahrenheit. So the first one we're going to look at is Fahrenheit, and it looks like it's at 100, and remember these are counting by 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it looks like it's about 102. It's really hot outside. And in Celsius, it looks like that it is close to 40, so 2 points away from 40, which is 38 degrees Celsius. So we have 38 degrees Celsius. Rain, there hasn't been any rain. The rain gauge is empty. And we're gonna look at our wind direction. So looking at our wind vane, it looks like the wind is closer towards the north than the east, but it's in between. So I would say north, northeast, north, northeast. And then our weather conditions, that's up in the sky, any precipitation, the cloud cover. So if we look up at the sky, and if we look towards my right, it does look very cloudy. It does look like it's going to rain. They're very gray, but not so gray. So we might have a chance of rain, but not 100% sure yet. I have to watch the news and find out. So let's see. So I would put here partly cloudy, and I can even put in my notation, looks like rain because of gray clouds. Now it's not as windy, the trees, they're not blowing as much, so maybe those clouds will stay. They will linger around, and we might get some rain, but if the wind picks up, the wind is then going to take our clouds away. So what you need to do for day 3 is you need to make sure that you watch the weather. You remember, you can watch the news, you can search on Google, you can ask your Alexa or Siri to see what the weather conditions are for in your area. So I'll be seeing you next time, and enjoy.